understand that 350.org and seven of the other big charities at the talks are planning to walk out of this year's UN climate talks. Is that true?
This is indeed correct. We have decided to take a stance on the way that the situation has been progressing the past few days here at the COP, and which has led to an escalation of a walkout for today.
Can you explain to us how you came to the decision? Was there a meeting last night?
Yes, there have been a series of meetings, and which culminated last night with a decision for this walkout to take place today.
And what is the reason for the walkout?
For us, for 350, we see the situation being one where it has become quite flagrantly obvious that the situation for progress and to be able to reach any binding climate treaty is being obstructed by the lobbying forces of the fossil fuel industry. And as we can see from this COP, they have had a very strong presence from before and during. And obviously we didn't come with high expectations, but we also come with an understanding of what needs to happen for us to reach this global treaty. And the role of the fossil fuel industry lies at the heart of the problem. And this is why for us this is the need to confront that reality, and knowing that moving forward and for our work building the climate movement, it will continue to be a reality for us in confronting the fossil fuel industry to be able to bypass that obstruction and reach what needs to be reached for climate justice.
Can you describe to us how the fossil fuel industry has been behaving at these talks, how it has got in and how it has stopped progress?
Well, it's safe to say that the fossil fuel industry could very well be considered the hosts. The Polish government really having no problems in the brandings and the corporate capture of the side events and logos everywhere, and Poland choosing to host the World Coal Association on the sidelines of the climate talks and having no problems whatsoever in the messaging that relays to the people who are here trying to move forward on the climate treaty. And this being this at the end of the day is a message of completely looking at this process as a joke, really, and having no attempt at hiding this or at giving this process its due respect and its due support.
Wouldn't they say that they have always been open about the sponsors and the fact that the World Coal Association Summit is going on, and that all the people here and indeed at home are living off the energy provided by these fossil fuel companies, so surely we have to talk to them?
Well, at the end of the day, for us, the reality is that there is a completely different scenario for the future that needs to happen. Climate change is a reality. It's a problem. Typhoon Haiyan was the strongest and most stark reminder for us here of that reality. Just one day before the talks here beginning, having this super typhoon happen. And this is a situation where we're not talking about an energy-less future. We're talking about the realities of where we need to be in terms of an alternative scenario, and where the fossil fuel industry needs to become, if there is no reality other than having to change their being. The fossil fuel, everyone agrees now, the scientists, environmentalists, economists, all of the facts point towards one reality: fossil fuel has no future. So at the end of the day, it's whether we choosing to postpone it over profits is not going to do any good other than harming the planet, as we are seeing happen at the moment.
And these talks are moving towards a global deal in 2015 where all countries or all richer countries will agree to cut their carbon emissions. How has progress towards that deal been delayed? What was the point where it became so delayed you walked out?
Well, we weren't expecting this COP to be more than a process COP, so we weren't expecting outcomes. But again, for us, the reality being that there is no realistic or no real binding expectations to materialize for 2015 that will truly serve to address the problems of climate change without addressing the core of the problem, which is standing up to the fossil fuel industry. And for us, this COP, again, no surprises, but a reality that if people were not familiar with the extent of what the problems are, this COP has served to crystallize that. And this is for us what the real situation is about, in coming to understand the realities and the extent of the problem.
What do you hope to achieve by this walkout?
For us, it's to be able to reinforce our message of how we are going to be continuing to build the climate movement. We are already working with through our campaigns in terms of, for example, our divestment campaigns and our Keystone XL campaign in the US. We are already doing work with that reality of standing up to the fossil fuel industry. For us, we will be continuing this work, but taking on the movement building to another level.
I understand you're just walking out of this meeting, but you'll be coming along again to Lima next year.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like to see there to get the talks back on track?
Well, for us, yes, we are walking out of this COP, and we're not walking out on the process because, again, we see the situation as the problem not being in the process as much as it being in the forces that are obstructing this process from moving forward. So, again, I hope for Lima to be a scenario where negotiators and heads of delegates come with the mandate that they really need to be coming with, and listening to the voices of the people back home. Millions and billions of people it's a reality that the political leaders can no longer detach themselves from this reality and from this message to people back home, even if they're not here physically, but they are relaying their message and their voice in calling for their heads of states to take a position and to make the commitments, whether financial or otherwise, to be addressing this issue of climate change.